Four Downs with Rich.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
First down.
This week's edition of Four Down starts with first down, and good job on the Carolina Panthers hiring the right man for the job. Just about an hour ago, the Carolina Panthers needing a safety, needing to get somebody to patrol the back end of their defense. And with this team having not only division hopes, but Super Bowl hopes, they went ahead and they signed Eric Reid. Now, for those who might want to know who Eric Reid is, he is a safety of note. He's a 26-year-old. He comes from, as you could see on the screen right here, wearing a T-shirt, signing his contract with the Carolina Panthers, as the Panthers tweeted out. DBU, he comes from Defensive Back University, a.k.a. LSU. He had a high-quality college career, and then in his years with the San Francisco 49ers showed that he could play this position and play it professionally and play it well. So why was he out there looking for a job? Well, the reason why he was out there looking for a job, and he says this, and a lot of people do believe it because the evidence does back it up, because why would a 26-year-old defensive back not have a job when he is healthy and more than capable of doing the job? He was the one who was always kneeling next to Colin Kaepernick. He was Colin Kaepernick's teammate who was kneeling next to him all the time. And Eric Reid, once Kaepernick left the team, continued doing that. And then once he left the 49ers, was having trouble finding work. The Carolina Panthers said, okay, even though he has been part of the grievance that Kaepernick has filed against the NFL of collusion to keep him out of the league, Eric Reid was signed today by the Carolina Panthers. Now, what does that mean? Did the Carolina Panthers ask him if he was going to continue having some form of demonstration during the national anthem on the sideline? The answer, according to Pro Football Talk, is no. They did not. We will see what he's going to do. He did hold up a fist in the photograph that he was signing the contract, and the Carolina Panthers tweeted that photograph out with 3 fist emojis of their own. The new owner of the Carolina Panthers, David Tepper, is somebody who has been very vocal, calling out the President of the United States for his stance against those who are not standing during the national anthem. A fascinating way to play this out, especially since, again, part of the reason why Kaepernick has not been hired by a team right now, I believed, is the fact that he's suing the league for collusion. And if you've got one team hiring a player who is in fact filing this grievance and taking him off of his couch and putting him in an NFL uniform, and according to Pro Football Talk, the contract that he has signed with Carolina has not called for him to drop the grievance, that is continuing. Then why should that be something that keeps somebody from hiring Colin Kaepernick? A fascinating hire that the bottom line of which is this, and this is the headline that we have here on First Down: hired the right man for the job. He's good. Carolina needs him. You want to win football games? Hire the guy that's going to help you win football games. And I think Eric Reid's going to do exactly that. Good on the Carolina Panthers. It's amazing that you sit here and it's a take to say good on a team for hiring the right man for the job. But they did. Second down.
Second down.
Guess who's knocking on the door of the National Football League's vaunted quarterback Mount Rushmore? Mount Rushmore.
Really?
Drew Brees.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not just saying this because he called into the Rich Eisen show on Tuesday, although that helps. Drew Brees in the remarkable Saints road win in Atlanta. At age 39, spin-a-rama'd his way into the end zone to force overtime, in which he ended the game on a drive that didn't put the ball in the hands of Matt Ryan and ended with him taking the ball in his hands and leaping across the goal line for a score. That's not why I'm saying this, except to say he's a 39-year-old doing what Brady did last year, which is balling out. He currently is only behind Ryan Fitzpatrick for most yards thrown in the league so far this year.
Go figure.
He is a 2-1 quarterback this year. Without him, the Saints would easily be 0-3. He is, in my mind, even with Patrick Mahomes doing what he's done, through 3 weeks of this league year, he is your clubhouse leader for MVP, which, believe it or not, he's never won. And in the game in which Brees did all of that, He broke Brett Favre's record for most completions in NFL history. Add that to this list of statistics. Are you ready for, I'm going to read this out. Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, got it. 11-time Pro Bowler, 7-time NFL passing yards leader. That's the most seasons leading the NFL in passing yards ever. He's led the NFL in passing touchdowns 4 times. He's a comeback player of the year once, as we all know, coming back from injury in 2004. You could say it again with what he did signing with the Saints. Don't forget, the Dolphins passed up signing him for Dante Culpepper, and the guy who's doing that is the college modern-day Lombardi, Nick Saban. He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner. In addition, these are his NFL records. Most games with 300 passing yards, 110 of those. Most games with 400 passing yards, 16 of those. Most touchdown passes in a single game, he did it once with 7. His career completion percentage is 67.1%. He currently leads the NFL through 3 weeks at age 39. You know what his passer completion percentage is right now? It's north of 80%.
That's good.
Consecutive games with a touchdown pass, 54. Seasons with 5,000 passing yards. All-time best with 5 right there. If he wins the Super Bowl and gets the MVP award this year, that puts him on the NFL Mount Rushmore. With who? My Mount Rushmore is Montana, Brady, Peyton Manning.
Okay.
And then there's that fourth that I think is objective and subjective to everybody else.
I think the top 3 are undisputed.
My current fourth right now is Favre. I'll go Favre over Elway.
How come?
Just the Iron Man streak, the longevity, the MVP awards. I know he doesn't have as many rings as Elway. But if Brees wins the Super Bowl to give him multiple ones and his first regular season MVP award, which he, by the way, would deserve at 39 if Brady did what he did last year at 40 and what Brady's doing right now, what Brees is doing right now at 39, got to put him in there with everything I just said. Call us, 844-204-RICH with your Mount Rushmore. Or if you think I'm a little bit nutty, I'll take those calls. Third down, please.
Third down.
Okay. Now then, Le'Veon Bell's got to speak. We got to hear from you, Le'Veon. We got to hear from you. Because you're not going to get it. It's going to be very difficult to get you traded. And I'm saying this from your point of view. It's very difficult to get you traded when a team is out there wondering, what do we give up for a guy that we don't know if we can sign him? And part of the reason why we don't know if we can get you now is because you've already said you're saving yourself for your next long-term employer. And we can't talk long-term contract with you based on the fact that you'd have to sign your franchise tender to even play this year. So you've got to sit down, come here, come on this show. You know, we know each other, Lev. And you've got to come out and say that whoever acquires you, wherever you go, including if it's this year in Pittsburgh, if you do have to stay in Pittsburgh and you show up in week 11, you're going to ball out. Because any team that wants to acquire you wants to know that. And any team that does acquire you wants to get its value, its return on investment on its draft choice that they've sent to Pittsburgh. So they're going to put tread on your tire in the manner that you might not want because you've come out through your agent and said you're concerned about the tire tread because you want to have a long-term deal coming your way that you'll be able to achieve the post-guaranteed dollar figure on your contract because you want to last longer. So if you want out of Pittsburgh and you want out now, you've got to come out and say you're willing to play and ball out and say it's even for Pittsburgh. But for the moment, if it is just Pittsburgh, you're going to stay back. I think that's what you should do. And if there's a team out there that still wants to take the risk, it's got to be the Texans. Now, the reason why I mentioned that, I mentioned the Lions before. You got to have the cap space to sign him now. Because if he signs his franchise tender, you got to be able to afford the $855K a week. Right now. You got to fit it under your cap right now. There's 10 teams that can do that right now. And of the 10 teams sitting there right now that can do this, that's in the AFC. There's only one that's in the NFC, and it's the 49ers. There's only one team on this list that really could do it, that doesn't, that has the cap space to do it, and has no wins. The Raiders have no wins too, but they've got Marshawn Lynch back there, and we've already seen they're not paying Khalil Mack a boatload of money, so why in the world are they going to bring Le'Veon Bell in? But it's the Texans. The Texans have the cap space to do it. They're 0-3. You want to save your season? You want to SOS? Stick him with Deshaun Watson and the Andre Hopkins. Texans got to knock on that door, 4th down.
4th down.
All right, Chris, do your usual 4th down tap dance here.
All right, Rich, you're walking up and getting the hot plague tank. Now, I'm really excited for this because, hot takes are hot.
Yeah.
And I know you like to believe your hot takes could actually take place. So give it to us.
All right. 4th down, as you know, I always go for down and distance regardless of the down and distance. I always go for it, right?
4th and 26.
Okay, so this is going to answer your poll question. Last year, when Jimmy Garoppolo was acquired by the San Francisco 49ers, my hot take that proved correct was that Garoppolo would win more games than he would lose, and he didn't lose a single game, did he?
No, because when he was acquired, he sat for a few weeks.
He did, but he did play he played 5 games. Even if he went 3-2 in those 5 games,
I
that
know.
hot take would have been good. It was 5-0. So here I will say,
okay,
Baker Mayfield will win more games than he loses.
Oh.
There are 14 more Cleveland Brown games to the rest of the year. And I say,
wow,
he's going to go 8-6 or better, which means he should have the most wins out of every other quarterback that's on that list.
Okay.
Which means the Browns could threaten to make the playoffs. Which would, I understand, negate my first hot take plank, 4th down of the year, of Darnold and the Jets would make the playoffs. But Baker Mayfield's going to win more than he loses, which is 8-6 or better, which means 9-6-1 for the Cleveland Browns, which puts them on the cusp, if not in, to the playoffs. He is just so good, and that cannon of an arm, I think, is going to take a lot of teams by surprise when they're out there. And the it factor, I cannot wait to see him go to Pittsburgh and try and win that football game, which I think they can. If everybody else stays healthy and his weapons stay healthy, the Cleveland Browns are going to enjoy Baker Mayfield from here on out. That's my 4th down hot take plank.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.